Yeah, hello everyone. How you doing? Hope your week was good. Yeah, it's Friday, everyone. As the meme says, Friday night, motherfuckers. And how you doing? Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. As I've said just about the beginning of every hi Chanka. As I've said at the beginning of just about every stream this week. Holy shit, it's been cold. What's it at now? It was at least reasonable the past couple. Oh, okay, that's 11 degrees. -4 real field temperature. You know, I'm putting some merit into the people who said that when Trump got the presidency, in 2024 again, that he shut down HARP, because we've not got a winter this cold in a long time, this cold with this much snow. He becomes president. I hear rumors he shut HARP down, and the next thing you know, cold ass classic winters with classic amounts of snowfall. Okay, I know global warming is a government psyop, but like seriously, were they legit just controlling the weather to make it hotter? Like, what the hell? But also, hello everyone. Hello, Megaman, McGinnis, Dragon Ranger, Philosopher, and Chanka. How you doing? We're putting the hosers in their place. We're gonna get to that. Yeah. But yeah, like initial greetings, hellos, all that, getting that out of the way. Yeah. I have good news on the games I'll be streaming front. It looks like Dune Awakening is back on the table. I've been discussing it with the other guild members on the Discord server in the Dune Awakening channel, but because that's a locked channel, because we have to keep the topics strictly Dune related, But yeah, apparently they're going to be okay, so they're patching in apparently an actual end game content instead of just the deep desert grind. And they're removing the tax system, which instantly makes the game 500% more playable, because I like that game. I had fun with it. Don't get me wrong. Fuck the tax system. Like, it's a buy-to-play game that, like, mandates you log in every week. Like, yeah, or you lose all your shit. Like, yeah, no, that's stupid. And I'm glad they're removing it. You like taxes? Well, then there's something wrong with you. I'm not gonna lie, Philosopher. There's something wrong with you if you like taxes. Nobody who is normal likes taxes, okay? Even people who aren't normal like taxes. Hatred of taxes is like honestly, that's one of those things like unifying among real human beings, If you're a real human being, right, left, gay, straight, white, black, whatever, you hate taxes. Nobody likes taxes. The British did? Well, who said the British are human? I mean, no offense, Scripton, because I know you're out there. My other British homies, y'all are cool. Taxation is theft. Yeah, it is. Like, and listen, I get the whole, like flavor they're going for in that game with, oh, you're paying your taxes to the Emperor and the Landsrad because they control the planet, and you're just renting a little sub fief, which is how a feudal system works, but it didn't work out in terms of gameplay, all right? EVE Online, unironically, does taxes better, and that just, the game takes a cut of your ISK whenever you buy or sell something, so that makes a lot more sense to me. Not forcing you to log in every week to pay taxes to make sure your buildings that you've built don't fall apart, and, you lose all your shit in the process. Because especially then, if you're like having trouble making money in the game, you're just fucked. So that too, But yeah, that was good. That was good news this morning. And you know what? Before we get into the meat of the topic, we're actually going to flip on over to the media here, because there is a topic I do want to discuss before we get into anything else, and that is the So this was some misinformation that was going around and got a lot of people like, nervous and stuff, but from, discussing film, Netflix has signed a deal to release the live action Gundam movie starring Sydney Sweeney and Noah Centineo. So I want to get this out of the way because I may end up rambling about Gundam a little bit, and I want to get that out of the way before we go into the meat of the topic, which is them filthy back bacon eaters. But they're leaving out important context here. Netflix is not producing this. Netflix is not producing the live action Gundam adaptation. Legendary Pictures is producing it. Netflix is just distributing. And Legendary is not owned in any way by Netflix, so they are not under any kind of like requirement to add shit that Netflix demands. Netflix is just producing this. Guess who finally has internet? Oh, hey, Iggy, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. I didn't know you didn't have internet. Like, shit. All right, man. Hey, glad you got internet, you know? Well, you made it here for a spicy stream because we're just getting the nerd topics out of the way, and then we're gonna be talking Canadians. So, but yeah. This is a full limiters off political stream. I will remind everyone, no violating Twitch TOS. I will be Twitch or YouTube TOS. I will be monitoring chat for the duration of this. I will be deleting comments if necessary. I just want y'all to know that, like, this is a political topic stream. I want you all to behave yourselves, okay? Like, be good crusaders, don't disappoint me. Handle the topic, maturely, even if I don't. Listen, if anybody's gonna make an ass out of himself on this topic, let it be me, okay? But wait, TLDR, a lot of shit. Starting January 1st, I had to find a new place or be homeless. I managed to figure something out, obviously. Well, that's good to hear, man. Seriously, like, yeah, no, homelessness sucks. There's a reason I wish it on, like, localizers and English voice actors and most game developers, because it fucking sucks. So yeah, I'm glad you didn't have to go through that though. Like, seriously. Okay, Gramps, we won't disappoint you. Listen, man. Just because I was there when Jesus was in high school doesn't mean like I'm that old. Okay. 2026 years isn't old. Life hasn't even started 2026 years. Okay. Okay, but back onto the Gundam topic. Do we know any plot details about the Gundam movie because that's Unicorn in the post? I mean, okay. Obviously, discussing film just grabbed the first screenshot they could of a Gundam and threw it up there. So they chose Unicorn, We don't really know anything about the movie other than two of the actors and that Legendary is producing it. We don't even know if it's adapting the original series or if it's going to be a new AU. I will say though, I did find it funny that other outlets talking about this, like, we're calling it the first live action Gundam. Like, motherfucker, G-Savior exists and you will remember its name, all right? You will remember the bravery of Gaia Colony resident Mark Karan, pilot of the G-Savior, all right? I am G-Savior's strongest soldier. I will get Sunrise to recognize G-Savior exists. They will say the name Mark Karan and they will thank me for reminding them, okay? But live action Gundam is just Power Rangers. You cannot convince me otherwise. I mean, okay, Iggy, I know it's bait, but I'm gonna answer anyway. I mean, G-Savior did use the mobile infantry outfits, the mobile infantry armor from Starship Troopers. That was also used by Power Rangers in space. So maybe they all share a universe and I'm being really schizophrenic about that. If there are no G-Savior fans, Bo is dead. Yes, exactly, Dragon Ranger. You got it. If there are no G-Savior fans left, I have died. All right. I will ensure that G-Savior has a legacy beyond my own existence, okay? Okay? If I will say, if I have brought one thing to the world, then, you know, it is the fact that people remember and venerate G Savior for the quality, you know, Babylon 5 tier, you know, sci-fi film that it is. All right. And that is also canon. It is Universal Century canon. All right. I don't care if Yoshiyuki Tomino wrote Gaia Gear. All right. Until they animate Gaia Gear, which I highly doubt they'll ever do, Gaia Gear isn't canon. All right. I don't care if the main character is a literal Char clone. Gaia Gear isn't canon, but G Savior is. All right. Quality Press X doubt. Man, no, man, I remember the gang listen, the gang loved G Saber when we watched that on the Discord, all right, man. I remember that. It was Lost Galaxy, actually. Shit, all right, okay. Which was the one where they were still operating out of Earth but had the spaceship? That was in space, right? And I remember Lost Galaxy was like a follow-up to In Space. I swear to God it was Power Rangers in Space. Like, but I realize it's been fucking long, all right? And I realized that, but I swear to God it was Power Rangers in Space. But yeah, no, okay. I wanted to get that information out of the way about the Gundam show. It is not being made by Netflix. It's just being distributed. We're not going to have Black Char Ansible, all right? Or Sailor Mash being a lesbian with Fraubo or anything like that, all right? It's not being made by Netflix. It's just being produced, all right? You don't need to panic. I, for one, trust Legendary to actually do this and do it well. They made the Monsterverse films. I like the Monsterverse films. They're quality content. They're good Godzilla films. I trust Legendary to do good by another Japanese property that I love. All right, they've been knocking it out of the park with Godzilla. They're gonna knock it out of the park with Gundam. I trust them. Witch from Mercury was punishment enough. Okay. Listen. I clown on Witch from Mercury stands a lot. Don't get me wrong. Witch from Mercury wasn't bad. It was just mid. It had a really, you know, not well done second season plot-wise. But it's not bad, all right? It's not a bad show. It's just mid. It honestly has a worse reputation than it actually deserves because of its fans. But its fans are absolutely horrifically toxic people that are like, you know, genuinely made discussing Gundam Online worse. Also, for a Power Rangers show, Lost Galaxy was pretty good. Well, I genuinely enjoyed Power Rangers. Well, when it stopped being about like the original storyline with like, you know, Rita, Lord Zed, Zordon, and that original group of Power Rangers passing the torch along, was kind of where I checked out. I did watch Lightspeed Rescue at the very least, but after that, it was where I kind of checked out of Power Rangers. But I did watch up until that point, but I generally remember like the Lost Galaxy in space portion the worst of that original run. But yeah, I do remember that original batch of Power Rangers shows where it was all like supposed to be, you know, the same universe, and that was generally where I preferred Power Rangers. All I heard about Witch from Mercury was the Gundam squished the guy during the season finale. What was the end of the first season? Was that the end of the first season or season 2? That was, I want to say that was the season 1 finale where Soletta did the mosquito slap on that dude and turned him literally into tomato paste. Like it was everywhere. And that will always be funny to me because so many people who had never watched Gundam before had no idea the level of violence that Gundam can have. Like, They were so unbelievably shocked by the mosquito slap, and I'm just sitting here like, you motherfuckers would not survive 0080. It would actually just kill you. Like, you'd get to episode, what, 3? And 3 is it? Where, you know, the violence happens, and they just have a mental breakdown, because holy shit, like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. That finale, that season finale of G-Witch was shocking. Like, it's a shocking moment. Like, even if you're prepared for Gundam's level of violence, it is really bloody, you know? But it is hardly the most violent Gundam has ever been. So, yeah, no, it's like, if you think G-Witch was bad, there are other moments in other Gundam series that would actually just cause you to, like, have a blue screen of death and probably get post-traumatic stress disorder. Hamburger? No, that's Bernie. That's Bernie from 0080. He was turned to hamburger. The guy from Witch from Mercury was turned to tomato paste. There's a distinct difference there. Seed will make them cry. Oh yeah, no, I've seen some of the war crimes that go down in Seed, and holy shit. Don't forget the bikini women with a rocket launcher that get atomized by a beam saber. Man, Tamino was really on that fuck women juice during Victory, and I really don't blame him with the bullshit he was going through with his ex-wife. So yeah, he earned every right to put that shit in Victory, and then also make Victory a scathing critique of feminism. It's literally one of the best critiques of feminism, like, ever committed to a show. Like, the whole idea of, like, you know, the feminine mystique and women would just be better rulers and all that shit, just laid bare for the lie that it is throughout a 50 episode anime. It is actually great. And then the best part is, on top of it, it also has, you know, legitimately great female characters who don't, like, use the fact they're women as a bludgeon to try and be better than everyone else, like the Zanskar Empire does. So it's not only, like, a great scathing critique of feminism, it also, you know, is a great defense of actual femininity and what makes an actual strong woman, rather than this ridiculous supremacist movement that is feminism. And it's a great show for that. Hey Bo, how goes it? Hey Dino Man, we are just doing some preamble about Gundam before we get into the main topic at hand. And you know what? Now that you've brought it up, I'm thinking it's time to move into the topic at hand. And that, everyone, is everyone's favorite hat that sits on top of the United States as our swinging dick, you know, dips down into the Gulf of America. That being, those are my bookmarks. But there is a Canadian on screen. We'll talk about him later. Canadians. Now, I want you all to, now we're going to start, okay, so if we're going to talk about this topic, all right, if we're going to talk about, hey, Salt, oh, hey, Salt, you know who Line Chew is. Okay. So, I figure if we're going to talk about this topic, all right, I have to point out what I think is patient zero on this topic for, like, maximum context, all right? So who do we have here? This is Tim Pool is Canadian. Is he? Canadian with flags and bio, opinion discarded. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I want to make, okay, there's something I got to do before we start. Okay. I just want to prove I'm not, okay, hold on. I just want to, okay. Disclaimer. All right, text. All right, okay, I just feel like it's important, you know, understand I'm not a hateful man. I am not a hateful man, all right? I'm legitimately not hateful. Because if people try to hit me with the racism allegations on this one, it is literally right there, okay? It is right there for everyone to see, plain as day. I literally can't be racist in this case. My boyfriend is a Canadian, all right? How can I be racist if I'm stupping a Canadian, okay? I can't be racist against Canadians if I want to stick my dick in one, all right? So if anybody tries to hit me with them racism allegations, fuck you. I literally can't be racist against Canadians. Okay, let me just drop that down a bit so it's not overwriting anything. There we go. Okay. I'm still a bigot according to Reddit. Fuck Reddit. Who cares what Reddit thinks? Reddit can suck my whole dick. All right. They can choke on my chode for all I care and cry about, but we downvoted you, so you're wrong. It's like, whatever. You're Reddit. You're irrelevant. Reddit lost at the ballot box in 2024. All right. Hosers aren't a race, but go off, I guess. Listen. They certainly seem to think they are, even if they're not, okay? I'm sorry to hear that. How long has he been diagnosed with Canuck? Since birth. But no, okay. I actually want to point out, Ash is, Ash, you've seen Asherin on my, you've seen Asherin on my streams. I stream with him all the time. He streams as well. He raids onto me. I raid onto him, he actually really can't stand this type of Canadian. So yeah, no, he can't stand this particular brand of Canadian. They actually drive him up the wall. Like, so yeah, so a little bit of context there, but so okay, it is so what we got here is what I believe is patient zero. I believe the specific Canadian we're going to talk about that got me on this anti-Canadian rant. I believe that Canadian got their inspiration from Line Chew here, who I will point out, Line Chew is not Canadian. Line Chew is, what country is he from? He's from like fucking up in Northern Europe, like Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, that part of the world. One of them, he's from one of them. And he, being a, left-leaning, neat thing about X is he can check. All right, hold on. Well, he also thirst traps a lot. I don't want that shit on my screen. Right, he's from Norway, right? Line Chew's from Norway. Okay, so you got a Norwegian here. He's Norwegian, from Norway. So, yeah, like, so this is like, so he's not Canadian, but as you can see by the text, do I even need to read this out? Like, so it's, yeah, he's like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna read it out. Okay. Everything I keep hearing and seeing about America is horrible. I remember growing up, I thought America was cool and I had bed sheets with the flag on it. I wanted to go there so badly. It was the coolest country in the world. Seeing everything with ICE, Trump, Homeland, I guess that means Homeland Security, even all the unprofessional posts here on Twitter by a real government is disgusting. Nobody likes America anymore. The country's become a joke globally, and the fact that all of this flipped in such a short amount of time. I want to point out that, official government Twitter pages having a sense of humor is legitimately one of the saddest arguments I've ever seen. He's literally upset about the fact that people are having fun, that people working the government social media accounts are having fun, making memes, having a laugh, they're not being all serious all the time. But, fuck them, I guess, for having a sense of humor, The Norwegian who doesn't even live in America and by his own admittance now hates America is gonna, obviously this person is qualified to tell my government how they should and should not conduct themselves on social media, when they're making memes and having fun and having a laugh, The US has become a joke, a lawless A lawless land where people can apparently do whatever they want, where there are no consequences for being a pedophile or murdering a mother of two, and this country is supposed to host the World Cup. Okay, yeah, no consequence. Okay, lawless land where there's no consequences. The entire thing going on right now with ICE and with, deporting, illegal aliens and migrants, and with, Renee Good getting shot. That is literally not lawlessness. That is the opposite of lawlessness and zero consequences. It's law and consequences finally being adhered to. It's the law of the land finally being applied after lawlessness was allowed to run rampant for years. That's what this is, Line Chew. That's what's going on here, okay? This is the law of the land finally being applied after years. And you know what? You know what else? The sad fact is, when lawlessness is allowed to run rampant for years by American leftists, when you have to reapply law and return order and stability and normalcy, do you know what happens? Shit like this. Shit like people like Renee Good thinking she can try to murder federal agents with zero consequence and getting herself killed. People like this other guy, this fucking Pretty or whatever his last name was, who thought he could bring a loaded weapon to federal agents and try to physically obstruct them from performing their job and getting shot in the process because his shitty ass SIG P230 negligently discharged after being taken from him because the SIG P230 is a piece of shit, and legitimately owning one should be considered an act of self-harm. Fuck SIG for making the P230. That thing's a piece of shit. I have no idea how you got a government contract on that thing, all right? But what's happening with people getting shot in ICE's attempts to uphold the law of the United States is the result of lawlessness, of people thinking that you can just openly break the law and obstruct federal agents without consequence, try to kill them without consequence, try to threaten their lives without consequence. Line Chew, I know you'll never watch this, but what you're seeing happening in America, 320, not 230. Okay, well, I'm just calculating. You know how it is. I can't remember how numbers go to save my fucking life, but you know how, what you're seeing right now, Line Chew, in America is the application of law and consequences. You don't understand that because you think it's normal for your race and your culture and your nation to be erased from history because you endlessly import migrants into Norway, and you're so ashamed of the idea of having a national identity. You think the destruction of your nation, of your people, of your race, of your culture is normal. And that is why you think that kind of chaos is normal. So when you see us returning chaos to order in the United States, you think that's evil. This has nothing to do with America being a lawless nation. This has everything to do with the idea that your concept of law is warped. It is warped and contorted. What you believe is not normal. So don't you dare go trying to shove your dysfunction onto our nation. And then, there's the usual, fuck guys, fuck Trump, fuck JD Vance, blah, 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 blah. And all that stuff that, every, fucking woke ass motherfucker who doesn't actually have a concept of what law and order is and consequences, just belts out because they think the world is fucking, Star Wars or some shit. We're going to get to that a little later, by the way. Believe me, believe that, all right? But the reason I bring up Line Chew here is largely because I think he's patient zero for what ended up happening. I'd like everyone to meet somebody. This is Mome Rat. Or just, okay, we're gonna call him Mome Rat because I'm not gonna give this guy enough, I'm not gonna give this guy enough respect to just call them by, anything but their fucking handle. So, Mome Rat, like Line Chew, is a femboy VTuber. All right. And I have to make a little reply here. It's genuinely funny watching femboy VTubers hop on this fucking, okay. I'm gonna be honest, like little commentary around here. A lot of femboy VTubers, unironically, are bigger thirst trappers than female VTubers by a long shot. I follow, obviously, you know why I follow plenty of them, right? Listen, I'm a dirty old man. I fucking deny nothing, right? But holy shit, oh, hello. Thank you, Satellite Cannon, for the $5 super chat. It's even more stupid on the art of villains fighting ice, literally portraying themselves as chaos. It's Beyonce. Oh, believe me, Satellite Cannon, we're lining up for that discussion. We're lining up for that. So be prepared for that. All right, we're gonna talk about that, especially because at least one artist shit where I ate. So we're gonna talk about that. But so these sorts gives ones like me a bad name. Yeah, right. Like I should obviously preface this. I'm not throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade at all femboy VTubers here. Very obviously. There's ones who I've seen comment on this and like comment on this topic, and it's very obvious to me they're not being malicious. They're just uninformed, Like there's ones I've obviously seen comment on that, and like I said, like I've seen some like say Tigaholic comment on it. I've seen him comment on it, and obviously I was a little miffed when I first saw it, but I eventually was like, whatever. And the reason being that it's very clear to me that, say, the way he describes it, it's very obviously just, it's just lack of information. Because something you have to remember about this kind of thing, not everyone who's criticizing the United States is malicious about it. Many are just ill-informed. Because the news in places like Canada or the EU and all them are not delivering the actual story. They're delivering, very obviously, they're delivering, a biased version of events and facts to, excuse me while I see a priest for my word. Oh, hold on. I believe patient zero was actually Ace. Reason I say that is because I covered him in a video and he said similar nonsense to Miss Lala 2 weeks before her. Huh. Excuse me while I see a priest for my words. Oh, okay. Buddy, hello, Damien. How you doing? Right. So I fully believe a lot of these people are just, like I said, just misinformed. I believe they're just misinformed. They're not getting their information from unbiased sources or looking into multiple claims of the situation at hand. They're getting this, they are, either firmly convinced they can't trust certain sources because they're right wing, or because those sources are right wing, or they're living in a place where they're not getting the full story because the full story is never given to them in those places. And Canada and the EU are places like that. So when I see people like, say, Tigaholic commenting on it, and he's commenting on that this obviously very leftist perspective, because Tigaholic is also Canadian. I'm convinced is Canadian anyway. When I see him just commenting on it, but obviously not like offering anything more than an opinion on the situation, or retweeting people who like are obviously from biased positions, that obviously comes off to me as just being misinformed. Like obviously it's the wrong information, but it doesn't come off as, say, malicious, you know? It doesn't come off as, oh, fuck America, burn America to the ground, whatever, like fucking Line Chew was saying, you know? Line Chew's statement, by comparison to what I've seen from some others, is malicious. You know, it's very obviously a malicious perspective. And Mome Rat here is very obviously making a malicious post. This is a malicious perspective. This is a malicious opinion. And if you think I'm wrong, look at the image. If you think I'm wrong, look at the image that's being, quote tweeted here. This is just threatening to kill federal agents. That's all this is. This is threatening to kill federal agents. This is a death threat. I hate people like Hi, Gingerblades. One moment while my pulse calms down. Whew. I hate people like Hassan and Mark Ruffalo who want a revolution, but from others to do it. Oh yeah, that reminds me of the guy that played the chicken guy in fucking Breaking Bad recently, saying that we need to have a revolution. Millions will die, but some will live. But obviously you'll live because you're not going to take part. But, okay, I'm good in yourself. I do appreciate how you're a bit more civil with these people because I bite their heads off. Yeah, listen, I realize I'm criticizing groups, and I always try when I'm criticizing groups to be level-headed, you know? Obviously, not everyone is going to agree with me, and I feel like it's important to try to parse the people who are making these opinions. The ones who are just misinformed versus the ones who are being malicious, but I will absolutely rake the ones being malicious over the coals. But, right, Mome Rat. So, Mome Rat here, very obviously, like I said, he's just quote tweeting a death threat, right? He's just quote tweeting a death threat to federal agents. So like, whatever. There's been a lot of people doing it, you know. There's been a lot of people doing it. You know, he's got the people, like, some people are obviously ridiculing him for this, and there's some who are, like, you know, praising him because obviously he's doing this in, like, a bubble of people who follow him and will agree with everything he says. You know, people who simp for him, because I can't show Mome Rat's actual Twitter homepage because he just thirst traps like crazy, and I will get this stream taken down on multiple platforms if I show his homepage. It is just a lot of thirst trapping. So yeah, I can't, show that. So I won't be going there. But obviously this is a guy with a lot of simps, this very heavily very sexual femboy VTuber. As I pointed out earlier, many of them, who a lot femboy VTubers percentage-wise are way more thirst trappy than, female ones, honestly. I'll say there are some out there, some who I highly respect, who are also mutuals with me, who, are not like that. Even if they do it a little bit, they don't make their streams about it. And you know what? I respect that. I really respect that. Compared to other femboy VTubers, that's honestly breaking the mold. And I do respect that. You know who you are. I'm not going to name names for obvious reasons, but y'all know who you are. And I respect you, all right? You wish you thirst trapped? Yeah, well, at the same time, then, Damien, if I saw you thirst trapping, I know for a fact you're based, all right? I've watched your streams and seen your comments. I know you're based. For me to take issue with individuals like Mome is the fact that they act like they're moral people, yet they can't acknowledge the issue the federal agents are facing, organizing efforts to interfere with their job from government level, attacks on hotels that they're staying at, stalking, doxing, etc. ICE is in a hostile environment. Well, I mean, yeah, but you also got to remember, the people like Mome Rat, they want people to die. Like, don't get me wrong. Mome Rat can be all, am I kawaii ugu? All like, he pretends to be. He wants people to die. That's why he's posting shit like this. He wants to see ICE agents die. That's why I say there's people who have their opinions on this, and then there's people who are just being outwardly, actively malicious and want people to die. And Mome is one of those people. And now what further proof could I have than Mome Rat's next move? All right. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. I'm going to keep my own comment in here because of the ratio. Yeah. This was Mome's next post. Turn that industry plant horse into glue. I'm so for real. It's just a meme about Tomoe. Fuck, what's her last name? Okay. Disclaimer, everyone. I may be bringing Tomoe up. Tomoe Umari. I'm bringing Tomoe Umari up because, she has been mentioned here. Do not bring this up to her. Do not go to her Twitter account and bring this up. Do not go to her stream and bring this up. Just don't, all right? If I find out my stream led to this getting brought up to Tomoe, if I find that out, I will just ban you from my Discord, from my chat, from everything, all right? Do not drag her into this. I'm literally only bringing her up for context. Do not bring this up to her. Do not drag her back into this. I will just ban you from everything related to me, all right? Block, ban, whatever. I will do that. Do not drag her into this. This is my first, final, and only warning on it. Now, bringing that up. So yeah, this is just Mome Rat again threatening someone's life. I'm sorry, but based on the previous post of threatening to kill federal agents, there is no better way there's not better way, but there's no way, period, to interpret the statement of turn this horse into glue than a threat on her life. There's no other way to interpret that, knowing his previous statement, where he wants to see ICE agents die. He's already said he wants to see federal agents die. So obviously, active service members of the United States military, not a far stretch from federal agents in terms of wanting them to die. And, the line, turn her into glue, like, come on. Like what else is this supposed to be? All right. Like, what else is it supposed to mean? This is a threat upon her life. And, and then obviously, let's see, what else? What was the next one? Well, obviously, okay. Well, first of all, before we go looking into more of his tweets, because he tweeted a lot, all right, on this topic. He was very obviously thought he was like making a difference or some shit because he's a fucking like brain dead, bacon back. But like, okay, so obviously let's go through the replies. All right, okay, we've got my own reply here, which I'll read out. Yeah, I don't think a country that relies entirely on the United States for its defense should be barking up that tree. Like, seriously, Canada has no army. It has at most, Canada has no army. Like, it has 60,000 active service members total. That's total. Everybody in every department. Like, they've got like 22,000 soldiers. It's fucking pathetic. But let's see. Let's go through the replies a little bit. Okay, a bunch of these were probably hidden. Okay, here we go. Actually, okay, we've got me, calling out the size of their army while he's ridiculing, the only defense they really have as a country, which is us, their southern neighbor, Wilson Warlock, Lord General, Keb? I never learned how to pronounce that. Let's see. Here we go. One of my favorite people on Twitter, Plain Fag, being all like, communist when someone doesn't feel obliged to be political online. Fuck you and your struggle sessions. Good on you, Plain Fag. You're all being based as usual. Uh, let's see. Operator Grizz posting like, you know, basically he's saying like, you really trying to start shit, you know? Let's see. Mbint, time to bring out the rat traps. Great. My bro Hurtbox, Canadian, talking about American politics. Tell us why your opinion matters at all. Let's see. Captain Crunch, another cool guy. Leaf Country crying about best country once again. Pay no attention here. So you see, obviously, not a lot of people agree with this guy, right? So hold on.
You know what you are? You're Canadian. Fuck you. Oh, you know what you are? You're Canadian.
That's the whole thing, right? What?
Fuck you.
You know, the Canadian thinks he has a right to criticize the United States, an active service member of the United States military. You know, their country is completely reliant on us to save them. If Russia invades Greenland, it's not going to be the Canadians dying to defend it. It's going to be us. It's not going to be the rest of NATO either, because, listen, if 9/11 proved anything, we can't rely on NATO for anything, all right? Like America got 3,000 Americans died. You know, put in 2,000 to 3,000 Americans, it was something like that. I'm bad with numbers. Died on 9/11. NATO did not have our backs. We enacted Article 5. NATO was like, good luck with that. So we can't, listen, if Russia were actually to start a war tomorrow, NATO would do nothing. NATO would come crying to America and tell us to handle it while they sat back being a bunch of, you know, fucking cheerleaders about it. This is why I firmly believe, like 9/11 proved, we need to ditch NATO. We need to ditch NATO. We need to get out of NATO. Pull our bases out of Europe. Pull our nuclear umbrella out of Europe. We don't need to be there. We don't owe NATO anything because NATO has never given us anything. And the one time in the history of our country since we founded NATO, where NATO was supposed to jump in and do its thing, guess what? NATO didn't do shit. They sent a few dozen people and they were like, well, too bad, so sad. Good luck in the Middle East, America. Those other countries only have their coveted and precious free healthcare because of us. Yeah, no, seriously, like people like this Mome Rat motherfucker up in Canada literally only get to have free healthcare. It's not even free. It's fucking like, you know, what do you call it? You're paying like half your paycheck in taxes to keep the free healthcare going. And then the free healthcare is just going to tell you, what? You're a little depressed. Okay. There's the suicide booth. And they're just going to recommend MAID anyway. So yeah, the number one cause of death in Canada is MAID. Mutually assisted suicide is the number one cause of death in Canada. All right. I don't want to hear no Canadians, all right, talking about fucking heart disease and diabetes when the number one cause of death in their country is each other with government medical assistance. Like fifth highest? Hold on. Is it fifth? I thought it was first. Fifth, but still. Oh, okay, well, whatever. Fifth highest. That's still awful. All right? That's still fucking awful. Fifth highest is assisted suicide. And now we've got the confirmation that the Canucks are like, legitimately like ordering this shit without the approval of family. They're just dragging people to the suicide booths. Like, come on. Like, come the fuck on. And you're going to preach to us about morality? Fuck you. Like, fuck you, Canada. Fuck you, Mome Rat. You're a legitimate piece of shit. And, and also trying to drag a VTuber who doesn't want to be dragged into this, into it. Like, she didn't want to be bothered by all this. I'm sorry, but you have to be apolitical if you're a member of the United States military. You do not have the luxury to take sides if war breaks out. You can't say, "Oh, I'm only fighting for my side of the political coin." That's not how being in the fucking military works. Sorry. You got to take bullets and bombs and missiles and potentially nuclear weapons for everyone in America. You don't get to make that decision of political parties if war breaks out. Our healthcare system is run by communists who don't see our actual taxpayers as human beings. It sucks. Yeah, I know, dude. Oh man, and listen, I just want to make the disclaimer, like legitimate disclaimer, not just the meme one in the top, but like I actually feel for you Canadians who have to put up with these people. I actually feel for you, and including Ash, I feel for him too. This is by far the most immoral thing you could do to convince by far the most immoral thing you could do is to convince someone into euthanasia. Yes, Alex00001. Completely agreed. I mean, I am morally opposed to suicide, not just because I'm a Roman Catholic, just because I'm Christian. I firmly believe the worst thing you can do is to rob yourself of life. No matter how bad things are, just Alec. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. But yeah, Alec, welcome to chat. Yeah, I firmly believe the worst thing you can do to yourself is rob yourself of life. Even if it's, approaching its twilight, even if everything feels doomed, even if you're ill, I firmly believe the thing you have to do is fight for every second. Don't give up. Don't give up, don't quit. Just real talk for a minute, because we're talking suicide's a rough topic, it's a rough topic. And just genuinely, if you're thinking that, if you've got those thoughts in your head, I'm not a wordsmith, all right? I'm not a psychiatrist. I do not know how to word this shit in a way that I feel like I can say, come up with a reason to keep going, but just genuinely don't quit. Don't quit. Don't give up. You never know if it's gonna get better until you hang on to see it get better. That's all I can really say. But just because I've had friends who have either been suicidal or actually tried, and genuinely don't give up like that, man. Don't give up like that. And honestly, fuck Canada for enabling this. Fuck Canada for enabling this. And here's and for the record, I remembered, so obviously this motherfucker is completely unapologetic. This guy's completely unapologetic of what he said. He's a genuine piece of shit. Now he's he's fuck you, America, for wanting a nation, but God, I love being Canadian. Okay, I guess what's left of it that isn't Chinese, Muslim, or Indian, but whatever. Oh man, okay, hold on. You know what? Hold on. I need to find. Okay, you know what? I need to go to the. I need to find my own post on this. Where the? Okay. Oh, okay. This got okay. Maybe searching through the Hold on. That's a good one. But okay. Maybe fuck. Going through the quote tweets wasn't the best idea. I want to find my post because I found a video of this dude. All right, I found a video of this dude. I want to show it all to you. Like, where? No. It'd probably be easier to search my. You know what? Fuck it. All right. Okay. One moment, everyone. I'm gonna search my. Okay. I don't want you all to see my Twitter feed for obvious reasons because. Nope, that's the subscreen. Where's the actual screen? There we go. All right, I don't want y'all to see. I obviously don't want y'all to see my Twitter feed for obvious reasons. We're gonna backtrack a couple of days on my feed and find that post I made because holy shit. I need to find that clip I made of that dude. Where is it? Where? Fuck. Still looking. Nope, there's that post. It's talking about Hathaway, shitting on Godzilla tourists. There it is. All right, so let's bring this back up. So this was okay. So I went to this dude's Twitter page on a whim. I've watched I've watched his streams exactly once because I mean, obviously, like I've said, I'm a dirty old man. I mean, I'll tune into a femboy VTuber, see what they're all about, right? And then I saw this dude's fucking stream. I watched it for like 10 minutes. And I got hit with him saying the line, "Unlike Americans, I live in a free country." That was all I needed. This was a while ago, like several months. That was all I needed to know. This guy ain't worth watching. But on a whim, after I saw his post about, the other VTuber who I won't name again, because obviously we're not dragging them into this, I decided to go to his, latest stream and I clicked a random portion of his latest stream and I managed to clip this. So we're just going to watch this real quick.
While I feel normal about politics, I had an education in place that allowed us to talk about politics. I understand that wasn't the case in America. I get hating politics. A lot of people are on the divide in the land of the unfree, but I do believe in you guys. It is very important to.
Okay. First of all, the thing I'll bring up, it's funny to me how his chat is like dead compared to my chat going on right now. And I'm a fucking nobody, all right? Like, genuinely, here's some advice. Land of the unfree, yes, in America, the banks can shut down your account if you protest. Oh, okay, listen, Damien, I distinctly remember the, I distinctly remember when the Canadian government was shutting down the bank accounts of truckers who were protesting the COVID-19 restrictions. I distinctly remember that. And if they've done it then, they've done it other times. He sounds Ontarian. I've heard okay. Obviously I'm not Canadian. I'm a red-blooded American. Everything I hear about Ontario, I've heard nothing good, all right? Like, whenever Ash talks about fucking Ontario, it is nothing but vitriol. I don't know what y'all Ontario motherfuckers are doing with your lives, but holy shit, you make California look normal, all right? And anyone who donated to the truckers, yeah, that too. They shut down, like, you know, the bank accounts of the truckers and also the bank accounts of the people who donated to the truckers. See, I know the Canadian government, Canada is a fascist state, all right? I'm just putting that, I'm just going to say it right there. Canada is unironically a fascist state, okay? And I'm not talking that fucking American liberal, oh, the president is slightly right of center like Donald Trump. Oh my God, clearly America is fascist now. No, I'm talking, you know, it is unironically, Canada is unironically a fascist dictatorship. I mean that completely unironically. In the classic left-wing socialist definition of the term fascism, as a left-wing socialist ideology as founded by Benito Mussolini and expanded upon by Adolf Hitler, all right? Canada is fascist. And motherfuckers like Mome Rat here are perfectly happy with the fact they live in a fascist state, and they are so blind to what actual freedom is that they would criticize the freedom held by Americans as fascist. I had to take a drink there, wet my whistle. Ontario was the industrial heartland until NAFTA and globalization turned it into our version of the Rust Belt, and they hate Alberta for some reason. Yankees, they hate Alberta for the same reason Yankees hate Texas. Well, let me tell you something. I'm from the northeastern U.S., you know, been living in Pennsylvania just about my entire life, and let me tell you, I fucking love Texas. I wish Pennsylvania was more like Texas, all right? I'd love it for right-wing Texans to move to Pennsylvania to do to Pennsylvania what Californians moving to Texas have done to Texas. I'd love that. Listen, I would welcome some Texan immigrants to Pennsylvania. Hey, Ryman, how you doing? What do you miss? We're shitting on a Canadian femboy VTuber who believes that America is not a free country while he lives in an unironic fascist dictatorship that is Canada by the classic left-wing socialist Mussolini Hitler definition, as opposed to the modern leftist definition that believes fascism is right-wing when it's not. Casual reminder, everyone, until like what was it, mid 2016, right wing was not in the definition of fascism. That was added just before Trump took office the first time to convince people that fascism is right wing. But fascism never had right wing in its definition before Trump took office. Best I can do is get my girlfriend to move from PA to Arkansas. Well, I mean, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna say if your girlfriend is based, get her out of PA, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. That's burps. That's my fault. That's my fault for drinking root beer. If we were fascist, our government would have better fashion sense and not be affected by the toothpaste flag cult. Okay, listen, hear me out. The greatest victory of fascism was convincing the modern fascists of the extreme left that they're not fascist. The greatest failure of fascism wasn't just losing World War II, but also the fact that fascism went from having legitimately some of the best drip in all of human history to being lame gay fashion disasters like Mome Rat here, okay? But anyway, so yeah, that was so obviously we just know Mome Rat's entire attitude here And that's basically what it is. The rest of it was just him, like, getting all, oh, now nationalism is apparently okay because he's talking about Canada. Or saying, like, so many people riding my dick, I haven't posted fag slop for like 2 days. And obviously, let's look. Obviously, he's hiding replies from the people criticizing him. And of course, he's pulling out the, like, the rage baiters secretly want to fuck me. Like, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be honest, Mome Rat, on the, the very slim chance you ever watch this stream. You're probably a good-looking guy behind the camera. I don't doubt that. You're probably pretty hot behind the camera. You couldn't pay me to fuck you, all right? You couldn't pay me to fuck you just because you're such a fucking miserable person, all right? Don't think your looks get you anywhere in life if you're this much of a miserable motherfucker, all right? It doesn't matter how good you look on the outside if you're ugly on the inside, and you have evil in your heart, all right? You have evil in your heart. So yeah, don't go thinking this is what it's about, all right? You delusional piece of shit. And now let's see. Now he's got this post. Taurus trying to say I backpedaled when the reality is I make new content every day and move on. Oh, he's already back to thirst posting, but honestly, it's very clear this was getting on his nerves because after making this post, he was locking replies and is still locking replies. So yeah, yeah, that's that. Mome believes having a college education makes you smart. But I got a newsflash for him. It does not. It makes you smart while it does not make you smart. Real world experience does. Yeah, no. It is honestly, if you've got a college education at this point in time, you are intellectually and morally compromised. And as far as I'm concerned, no opinion you have is worthwhile. Even his avatar is bottom coded. Well, like I said, most everything he does is just thirst posting. Like it's very much strikes me as the kind of light on worthwhile content, but he can shake his ass on screen kind of VTuber, very generic kind of content. Like listen, and again, I'm not throwing shade on all femboy VTubers with this guy. There's ones out there I absolutely recommend you should watch, For the sake of avoiding drama, I will not name names, okay? Because I know this guy might actually, because this guy's been involved with trying to cancel other femboy VTubers before, all right? I've witnessed him doing that. So I'm not going to name any names in this stream. Because I know, it might get back around to him that I made this stream. He'd see me recommend someone in the stream and then probably start a cancel brigade on that person saying, oh, look, they're friends with some right-wing Nazi because he recommended them over me, Because let's be real, Mome Rat is absolutely the type to be that kind of petty motherfucker who would, try to cancel someone in order to, not for any legitimate reason, but great, there's no legitimate reason to cancel somebody, but for that kind of reason, like, I want to backstab this person because, I don't like them. And he's done it before, so he's got a history. He's got a history. Again, I'm not going to name names, but he's got a history. I've been witness to it. They're also vindictive. Yeah, book smarts are trumped by street smarts. Yeah, listen, Alec, there's absolutely a difference between being smart and knowing things. When you go to college, you know things. But only life experience can make you smart. And most college educations are designed to make you know things, but prevent you from wanting to be smart. I went to college and I remember learning about intersectionality and calling it bullshit in class. I'm amazed you graduated, dude. Like, honestly. Unless you didn't graduate and dropped out, which you're probably better off for, not gonna lie. Educated, not intellectual. Yeah, exactly. Listen, there's a reason Dungeons and Dragons has a intellect and wisdom being two different stats. Like, there's a reason for that. And it's really funny to me, like, because it's really funny to me implying that, Americans aren't educated on politics. Like him implying that in his fucking ramble about how Americans aren't intelligent and that makes him qualified to talk about politics while Americans are not. Like, bro literally can't tell, like, the different, like, he like, Mummy Rat seems like the type who would post the "you are not immune to propaganda" meme, completely unaware of the fact that that his entire political education is pure propaganda. Ugh. Educated idiots. Yeah, no, the term I've heard for that is overeducated, which always sets off overeducated people, because then they'll attack you, being all like, "What, you hate education? You're anti-intellectual." It's like, no, you know too much. You know lots of information without an ounce of wisdom or smarts to actually utilize it. Fourth year Russian history with people whose entire body of knowledge of World War II was from Saving Private Ryan and maybe Enemy at the Gates. Right. The kind of people who actually believe that for no reason at all Hitler was just voted into power. Like, don't get me wrong. And I know some people might try to construe it this way. Hitler was a monster. Okay, the Nazis were monsters. They were absolutely enabled by the society that voted for them. Not just in the fact that people voted for them, but the reason people voted for them was because Weimar Germany was in complete economic, societal, cultural, and moral collapse. So that did not happen for no reason. Generally speaking, when societies are in collapse, there are two situations when it comes to elections. Either the person who can actually fix things will get elected, or the person who will actively steer the country into dictatorship, into, fascism, or whatever totalitarian regime ideology takes over, will get elected. And at that point, it's generally a matter of luck. I will say, though, I don't think America got, even as bad as things were under Obama and under Biden, I don't think America got that far. But it was getting there. It was getting there. You did graduate. It was a communications elective I had to take. And there was one time these types were bitching in the engineering department, got a huge donation in the liberal arts department, weren't going to see it, and laughed and told them the donors can dictate where the money goes. Yeah, exactly. The donors dictate where the money goes, and the donors are the same kind of brain-rotted shit libs that, like this guy. Hell, even our public education system has gone down the same path as our college system. I mean, look at how math and English scores have gotten as of late. Well, they don't actually teach math and English anymore. They teach vibes-based education, and that's why it doesn't work. You can't learn English and math off of vibes. Was that the last fucking post? Oh, wait, we've got one more Canadian to look at, everyone. It's everyone's favorite terminally short and fat man who sips for Lilith Lovett on Twitter and would literally, destroy his entire political compass just to get some, just to get some bussy from her. Oh God, it's Dev. Yeah. Ah, yes, the Uber Canuck. Yeah, exactly. Yandere Dev. Yeah, well, listen, we all know he wants to fuck Kirsch. All right, that's why he's perpetually mad at Kirsch. He wants to fuck her. He's a man driven by his baser impulses to completely rewrite his entire political spectrum. Because I remember when he was a more right-wing Gamergate personality, and they threw all that out the window because literally threw it all out the window because of a former child prostitute who he's horny for on the internet. Kirsch is for asthma only. Yeah, real. But yeah, no, like, it's the centrist Canuck. Like, honestly, Dev is the reason why I don't, hey, Kamikaze Kid, how you doing? Shaw, what now? Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that? Because I mentioned Dev warped his entire political compass to simp for Lilith Lovett, Twitter, a transgender Twitter personality. Lilith Lovett is proud about the fact they're a former child prostitute. It's actually disgusting. It is legitimately disgusting to witness. Like actually disgusting. I don't have the receipts of it anymore, but I remember one time I got into a row with that Lovett person, and and they were trying to say that all priests are pedophiles, and I basically told him straight up that I told him straight up, any priest who would do that is no longer a priest. They have betrayed God, they've betrayed their faith. And they have betrayed the people they are sworn to guide. So they are no longer a priest, and they should be thrown in a wood chipper. Said as much openly. Every pedophile priest should be thrown in a wood chipper. I firmly believe that. So Lilith Lovett decided to call me a pedophile over that and I'm quoting, defending pedophile priests. Because nothing says, I agree with pedophiles like the line, throw them in a wood chipper. Because of course, right? But yeah, Dev, everyone, like, it's legitimately funny how many Canadians like him, like, we're shitting on Canadians here, how many Canadians like him like to, say that they're centrists. There's a reason I don't use the term centrists to describe moderates. And it's because of people like Dev. Like, Dev's, okay, y'all know what the Overton window is? Like, okay, hold up. Let me look for this. Is it? Yeah, there we go. Let me find an example for you. Let me find a picture of the Overton window that I can bring up. One moment. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. Hang on, everyone. Hang on. I'm switching through screens here. Open with fuck it. Open it with Paint. Oh wow, that is an awful resolution. Holy shit. There we go. Okay. All right, let's get this open here. Oh, one moment. Gotta reopen. Gotta bring this back up. Where did I put that? There it is. All right. So, one moment, everyone. We're just gonna. this it? Might be it. That is not it. Is it? Is that it? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Wait, no, that's not it. Shit. Where the okay. I'm sorry for the delay, everyone. I'm trying to find MS Paint. Why is MS Paint not showing up? Oh, God damn it. Okay. Well, you know what then? We're gonna do this instead. All right. Because this doesn't want to work. That doesn't want to work. It's being lame and gay. This is the Overton window, right? So this is the Overton window, okay? And this is like, essentially the bar between, that decides how extreme your politics are. And we're going to make a small edit here. Now, people like Dev would call me, a political extremist, right? He'd call me a far-right Nazi. That's what he would call me. Oh, hello, Rando McRando Pants. How you doing? Welcome to the follow. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the crusade. But all right, let's grab a pen. Let's grab some color green. Okay. Now, okay, we're gonna amend this. We're gonna amend the Overton window image, but this is the Overton window, all right? And basically, MS Paint, what the fuck are you doing? Let me just. What? Oh my God. Okay. Oh, okay, that's the problem. All right. So, all right. That's there. And now one more over here. All right. That looks good. Let's save that. One moment, everyone. Gonna just where the fuck? All right. And there. All right. Okay. So I amended the Overton window image. And so I want you all to understand something, okay? Follow on Twitter, hell yeah. Hey, dude. Thanks for watching. But, okay, so. Now, the Overton window describes how extreme, where you sit on, the extremity of your beliefs, left or right, right? Now, you see the green arrow? The green arrow, that's where Dev sits. The red arrow, that's where I sit. But now the problem with Dev and a lot of so-called Canadian centrists, is that their concept of centrism is based on the idea that their perception of the Overton window is so warped and contorted that their position on the green arrow, as far as they're concerned, is the center of the Overton window when it's not. They're all far left, basically. Yeah, no, they're far left. They are far enough along to be considered far left, but from their perspective, being, moderately leftist, over toward in the purple box on the Overton window, is far right. That's how warped their perception is. That's how warped Dev's perception of politics and of extremism are. These are the kind of people who call, Joe Biden a centrist because Joe Biden was in the exact same spot where they are on the Overton window on the Green Arrow, when in reality, Joe Biden was far left. But, you know, they'll see people like me in the moderate right, literally inside the purple box, and consider me an extremist because their concept of what makes an extremist is so contorted and out there. They don't have a healthy view of politics anymore, and they can't. Biden didn't know where he was or who his wife was. I mean, yeah, but all the same, you know, when he was, you know, lucid still, he was on the Green Arrow. He was nowhere near the center. We've never really had a conservative government, just globo homos wearing masks. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like, and honestly, Canadian centrists are just leftists. Like, they really are. Like, there's no such like, there's very rarely such a thing as a Canadian conservative, like an actual conservative. I firmly believe Canada is a doomed country. Like, I firmly believe that. I don't know what could possibly change it at this point other than just outright revolution. Like, if the people get so sick of it that it comes to a shooting war. And there's people, I don't want that to happen. Don't get me wrong. I literally have a loved one in Canada. All right. So I don't think I want this to happen because fuck Canadians or whatever. I don't want it to come to war, but it probably will. Either from somebody within Canada, or they're finally going to get too big for their britches and provoke the United States into war. It will be one or the other. And I think it will be soon. It will be within the next 5 to 10 years. I firmly believe that. We need to disenfranchise everyone west of Kamloops and east of Thunder Bay to fix this country. Well, honestly, I mean, I'm a firm believer in Heinlein's brand of voting rights. I firmly believe the way to fix both America and Canada is just to start taking voting rights away from people. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe there are groups of people who should not be allowed to vote in the United States. Like, just straight up, you know, the right to vote should not be a right. It should be a privilege to those who put in service, military service, to prove it. I firmly believe that. And I know some people might say, but Bohemond, you didn't serve in the military. I'm firmly aware of that. I would give up my right to vote if it meant people who can be trusted to vote would be the only person to vote. Because let me tell you something. People like me who did not serve in the military, but can also vote sensibly, are rare. We are very rare, and there is not enough of us to justify universal suffrage. Tim Waltz got to vote. Yes, exactly. A man who was actively a traitor to our country, who overthrew rule of law in his state and sold it to Somalia, has the right to vote. That is proof that the 19th Amendment needs to go. Universal suffrage needs to go. Okay? Like, that is just like, that's just the long and short of it. The universal suffrage needs to go. Voting rights need to be determined by military service and nothing else. I firmly do not believe there's any other kind of service that can be used to prove that, you know, you can handle the responsibility of voting. I firmly believe that now. I believe that unironically. I would just exempt those who are extremists, can't read, and never graduate from high school. The problem is that, you know, like mid-level exemption rules can be turned against normal people. The only way to prevent it is just deny the privilege entirely, except for those who earn that privilege. And the best way to earn that privilege, to know you can earn it, is through military service. It's the only thing that can actually do it, honestly. Like, unironically, Heinlein was right about voting. Heinlein was right about voting. It is just that simple. California is a mini Canada. Look at how Gavin Newsom ran the state to the ground. Well, okay, my spicy opinion on Canada and Minnesota and any other blue state for that matter, including Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania just went red like this election cycle. My firm belief of what we need to do with blue states, remove them from the union and invade with the military. Like, just no shit. Cut them off from the union. Use the fact they are now suddenly not part of the United States to invade with full military force, overthrow the traitor governors and state governments, replace them with loyalists to the American Union, and then slowly reintegrate them into the Union. That is the only way to do it. That is the only way to do it. Not blue states, blue cities. No, okay. It has to be state level. It has to be state level because loyalists to America will rise up at that point. At that point, the loyalists, once the state is cut off from the union, the loyalists to the state will rise up, lines will be drawn, and we will know where to direct military force. That is what it's going to take. Or at the very least, it will take that for California. I believe at the very least that the blue states right now may be salvageable. With, voter ID, active ICE raids, until not a single migrant is left. And we're moving to that now. We're moving to that. We have seen crime drop. We have seen, we have seen good change in the blue states now. We're moving toward voter ID at a federal level, which is a good thing, but we need, at the very least for California, it will work. It will take military invasion to unfuck California. And I believe we need to kick California out of the union to see it happen. Once California's out of the union, the American loyalists can rise up. We can draw lines. We can invade. We can quickly and swiftly and cleanly decapitate the leadership of the renegade, rogue state that is California. Decapitate in the, arrest sense, I will point out, to make very clear. And then we can install loyalists to run California and slowly fix California over time and reintegrate it into the United States. Not right away, but we can offer aid to the loyalist side and we can slowly reintegrate as we correct California's politics. When it came to voting, land ownership used to be required. I would say the problem with that now is that opens up corporate voting, which we should not allow. I firmly believe, by the way, if you're a member of a corporation, you should have no voting rights. Disney, Hollywood, Lockheed Martin, you name it, you should have no voting rights if you are a member of a corporation. Like, absolutely no voting rights. None. Like unironically, I retweet right-wing people a lot. I make right-wing memes. A lot of people really don't know how far right I am. And it is very, I don't believe, like, obviously being, gay, having a boyfriend, having friends who are like, gay, bi, transgender, gender nonconforming, whatever, white, black, Asian, whatever. Obviously, I don't hate people. Very obviously. And obviously, I don't believe people, groups, should be oppressed by the government, obviously. But I firmly believe we need to start determining who and who is not an American and who not has the right to decide the future of America based on things like how they can prove they can serve the country. I firmly believe we are at that point where we need to institute Heinlein-style suffrage. And I firmly believe California, as a state, needs to be kicked out of the Union, invaded militarily, not by the National Guard, by the full-blown military, Marines, Army, Air Force, and to restore normalcy and loyalty to California. Because right now, California is a rogue country that just happens to get the benefits of being a member of the Union. And I fully believe that. And if that sounds extreme of me to say, cry about it. Cry about it. I don't fucking care anymore. All right? I talk about look, I tried so hard to be not to be political on my streams. I tried for a long time not to be political. I don't care anymore. That is genuinely my belief. And you know what? I gotta piss like a racehorse. So, I'm gonna go to the AFK screen. I'll have to do some stuff outside of stream real quick. But I will be back, and we're gonna move on to the next topic, which will be ice hysteria. So yeah, I want y'all to hang on real quick. I will be back.
Out there, yes, clear. Loud and clear. Pacific.
4423 live, we'll get the mobile station.
I'm in cut. C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on N4 E Edward, and 2 will both be a 50. 224, I was going out there. 233 will be clear on N4 and 2 will both be a 50.
What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud and clear.
Pacific. 4423 live, we'll get the mobile station.
I'm in cut. C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on N4 E Edward, and 2 will both be a 50. 224, I was going out there. 233 will be clear on N4 and 2 will both be a 50.
What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud and clear.
Pacific. 4423 live, we'll get the mobile station.
I'm in cut. C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on N4 E Edward, and 2 will both be a 50. 224, I was going out there. 233 will be clear on N4 and 2 will both be a 50. Radio is 6300 Blackwell.
What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud and clear.
Pacific. 4423 live, we'll get the mobile station.
I'm in cut. C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on N4 E Edward, and 2 will both be a 50. 224, I was going out there. 233 will be clear on N4 and 2 will both be a 50. Radio is 6300 Blackwell.
What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud
Hello, everyone. I'm back. I hope Bo gets a sponsor. Yo, listen. Okay. Listen. The Dragon's Tea guy, he's pretty based. He's pretty right-wing and based. I'm pretty certain even he wouldn't sponsor me with how much of a fucking brand risk I am, okay? I'm pretty certain he wouldn't sponsor me, okay? I'm realistic about my chances just because of my politics and my opinions. So, yeah, I'm pretty certain even he wouldn't want to sponsor me. So, yeah, I genuinely don't ask as a result. I don't want to have to, you know, I don't want to bother people. Like they're people I would not mind as a sponsor, but I don't want to bother people, you know? You have an amusing side tangent before we get to the next subject. All right, yeah, okay, you know what, Iggy, you know what, hit me. Yeah, hit me. I will react to that. Also, I'm normally not one to eat on stream, but man, I'm fucking hungry. I didn't eat much today. Mostly because I forgot. So yeah. If you can hear me chewing, I apologize, but I've just got cashews here I'm snacking on. Dragon's Treasure is an option. Yeah, I did say that. Bo snacking ASMR. Oh my god. Yo, listen. If I ever did ASMR, it would unironically be, you know, what is it? Cyborg Space Crusader yells at you extremely loudly at boot camp. Something like that. That's what my ASMR would be. It would literally just be like 30 minutes of me screaming at you and calling you useless and telling you to do 100 push-ups and shit like that. That's what my ASMR would be. That's called mukbang, and that's disgusting. I'm hoping my mic doesn't pick it up. If my mic is picking it up, let me know. I'll mute myself, all right? Because I think mukbang is disgusting. I don't want to inflict that on any of my viewers. I really don't. Like, actually. So, yeah, if you can hear it, let me know. I'll mute my mic when chewing. Oh, that. Okay, yeah. I saw that. I saw that before, Iggy. So, yeah. I saw that before, Iggy. So, yeah. I'm not really going to comment on it. I'm not going to comment on it. Just one-off, which is a one-off funny. What am I eating? I've got a thing. I got a thing of cashews here. I'm just snacking on them. Does this? Hold on. Does this get picked up? That is not getting picked up by the mic. Okay, maybe me getting chewing won't get picked up, but right. So, next topic. So y'all seen this, right? Oh, just give us a moment to sink in. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Breathing nut dust. Oh, my God. Anyway, comic book artist Tim Doyle endorses murdering ICE agents. So, yeah, I believe we have hit peak. Bo over here choking on nuts. The jokes right themselves, man. Fuck you, Iggy. Oh, fuck. Okay, I've got drinks with me. I'm fine. I ain't got nothing in my windpipe. It's just scratched up. I gotta swallow. I gotta drink something. I gotta get these nuts out of my throat. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll live. Also, wait, hold on. We can get rid of, where did I put that? Oh, right, there we go. Disclaimer. All right. You know what? Actually, I'm going to just hide that disclaimer. I'm going to keep that text around, the text box around. Maybe I can use it for something else later. Fucking, hold on, everyone. All right, sorry about that. It looks like I'm a voice mod. I'm fucked up. So I had to restart it real quick, but I'm fine. What? Let me test the mic. Let me test my mic. Hold on. All right, we're good. Bo was so lucky I don't do my on-the-fly voice clipping I used to do. Well, okay, look, man. Look, listen. I'm just trying. Look, I'm trying to just trying to fit some nuts in my mouth and fucking like talk about ice. So yeah, don't be backsassing me. All right, but let's go to the main point here. We have reached peak. The fictional character disagrees with me in the fact that comic artist Tim Doyle started an art trend of drawing ice agents just straight up being murdered by comic book characters. We got, and of course it was posted on our comic books, because of course, Reddit. But he posted well, like these two are Wolverine and Punisher, and he I want to say he also posted fucking what's his nuts? Ghost Rider. Read a moment? Yeah, real. Yeah, those superhero things are stupid and infantile. Yeah, and what else we got here? I like this. This guy's Big Boris on Twitter here, his response to it. And then Wolverine slashed up all the ice agents with his claws, like just fucking making fun of him. And you see, this is why we must have an ultimate solution for the dirty mutants. Hey, Victus, how you doing, man? Happy to see you here. Yeah. So obviously people are making fun of him, but unfortunately, oh wait, hold on. There's a little more here. I want to say this is him. I want to say this is the guy. Listen, he is a Reddit looking motherfucker. All right. He's a Reddit ass looking motherfucker. Let me tell you. I made a lot of people mad dunking on Concord too. I mean, Highguard. Listen, Victus, my buddies, Millie, who was streaming it, and Chanka and Pascal, who was, I think was also streaming it, tried playing it. It's dog shit. It is absolute dog shit. It's funny too. I was gonna talk about Highguard today, but I decided instead that I'm not going to. There's nothing really to talk about. It's just a failure. Yeah, better just silently let it die. Isn't that Carlos Mazza? I don't know. I don't know what any of these comic book artists look like. Comic books haven't been worth reading in decades. Bro doesn't know how to grow a beard. Yeah, real. Real, like legit, like fucking soy beard chin pubes looking motherfucker. The kind of guy who grows a beard like that to cover up his weak chin. But yeah, let's see. The guy who drew this, Tim Doyle, is actually a legitimate psychopath. He has a long history online of harassing people, doxing addresses, and wishing violence to those who cross his path. All right, let's see. Okay, so there he is laughing at a woman dying in a negligent discharge accident. There he is doxing some guy. There he is telling FedEx to no longer deliver for the NRA. And and there he is telling people to go murder Jordan Peterson. Okay, yeah, no, this guy's a piece of shit. I actually didn't look at these screenshots until I got to the stream. I just saw the, oh, hey, look, receipts. I think I'll I think I'm gonna, bookmark these for later. But Marshall, if we banned guns, it never would have happened. Yeah, exactly. Let's just ban guns. That's gonna always prevent people who want to use guns to hurt people from getting guns by keeping the law-abiding citizens who'd shoot evil people who would try to hurt other people with guns. Let's prevent those good guys from getting guns, but let the bad guys have access to all the guns they want. Oh, so he's a totally sane and rational individual. I can smell the sarcasm dripping from your words there, Gingerblades, and yes, exactly. And yeah, no, listen, just judging by the pictures of him, yeah, he's a fucking soy-ass Reddit motherfucker. But yeah, he started an art trend of drawing characters, physically assaulting or killing ICE agents. Like this one, it was Batman breaking an ICE agent's neck. Batman, who has a no-kill policy. They now love the Second Amendment stand your ground doctrine. Yeah, no, real. They hate it when, I mean, listen, it should be very clear. They only want people who will kill conservatives to have guns. And then we have, here we got Venom killing ICE agents. Okay. And this was really funny because, then people started drawing villains doing this. Like we got Venom here. And this is the really funny one. Comic artist Raymar Brunson drew this. Fucking Dr. Doom's a villain. He's a villain and a nationalist. He's a diehard nationalist of Latveria, his nation. He's literally a totalitarian. Yeah, no, he's a totalitarian dictator. Like, I swear to God, you could get these people to stand for Hitler if you just draw Hitler killing an ICE agent. Like, no shit, you could do that. All you would have to do, draw Hitler killing an ICE agent, and you will get these people to back Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime. From an isolationist nation. Yeah, no. Totalitarian dictator from an isolationist nation. Yeah. Hi, you've seen I've drawn the totalitarian dictator to defeat ICE. Who are the good guys, obviously, since Dr. Doom is a bad guy. Yeah, they really don't think this shit through, do they? I like the piece where it's Batman attacking the monster who killed Irina Zurtska. Oh yeah, no, fuck that guy. If anybody should have been fucking executed for anything, it should be that guy. I legitimately hope he suffers the worst fate imaginable after rotting in prison for a while. All according to due process, of course. Obviously. Funnily enough, Doom would have his own ICE, robot ICE, more specifically. Yeah, no, he did. No, legitimately, if he had migrants crossing the border into Latveria, he would literally send the Doombots out. Like, he'd send out the fucking Doombots, and you know what? He wouldn't deport them. He'd just kill them. He would just kill them. Like Dr. Doom does not fuck around as a character. He would just have the Doombots kill them, like kill anyone who tried to sneak into Latveria. Like, so depicting him as an ICE agent, or as an ICE agent, killing an ICE agent is, Memetic Sisyphus was absolutely right. And, liberals don't know things. All the data, they don't obsess over statistics, and all the data points they do bring up, they forget. Their entire existence is based on consumption of fiction. Oh, and of course, where would we be without Sonic in this discussion? Where would we be without retarded Sonic the Hedgehog fans drawing Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, trying to kill ICE agents? Where would we be without that? You know, with the character who literally originates the fictional character would agree with me meme. Listen, I feel so sorry for Temp, you know, and other rational Sonic fans who have to put up with these retards in their fandom. I really do. I really sympathize between like Ken Penders and fucking these retards. Like, good God, man. Good fucking God. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you stay a Sonic fan. It's bad enough with Warhammer. It's so much worse with Sonic. I'm one of those rational Sonic fans. Alec, I don't know how you do it, man. I really don't know how. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you stay in that fandom with how fucking retarded it is. Like, honestly. But what else was there? Oh, okay. You mean like that one guy made a Black Templar killing ICE with an... Hold on a minute, Hold on, Victus. Hold on. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Do you have that thread on hand? Do you have that thread on hand? Because if you do, DM it to me. I want to see it. I want to see it myself because we're gonna dovetail into 40K coming up here, you know? We're gonna end up dovetailing into 40K off of the ICE drama. So if you have that the picture of that thread, DM it to me if you can. I wanna post it for this discussion. But anyway, I can see the link in Twitch chat. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Victus. Oh my. Oh, this is not the one I saw. Oh, okay. You know what? Hold on. Let me just put that there. Okay. Thank you for some premium rage bait, Victus. I'm gonna go off on that later. But so this was the one that really cheesed me off. It really pissed me off. Pissed in my Cheerios, you know? Godzilla killing ICE agents. You're a master baiter after all? Yeah, I agree. I believe it. I believe you. I believe you're a master at baiting. I believe you masturbate all the time, dude. But yeah, no, it's like, look at this shit. Because, like I said, now we're shitting where I eat. Because this is fucking... What kind of tourist ass... Wait, hold on. I think it got another, Oh, yeah, we got one more related to this, but we'll go into it in a minute. What kind of tourist ass motherfucker thinks that this is actually, like, a worthwhile statement? Why would the giant radioactive dinosaur that just wants to sleep until some dumb motherfucker kaiju or alien invasion wakes him up from his sleep would care about, you know, ICE Did they shrink Godzilla for this picture? It's okay. It looks like it's implied he killed a mech that belongs to ICE, which, fucking hell, I wish ICE had mechs. Man, that would make them so much more efficient if they had fucking mechs. It would also be awesome. If ICE had mechs, I'd join up. Unironically. I mean that unironically. If ICE had mechs, I'd deport every Mexican in America, strictly if it meant I got to pilot a fucking mech. I mean, shit. I'd pilot the, I'd deport the legal Mexicans just so I could stay in the mech a little longer, okay? Just so I could stay in the mech a little longer. I'd deport the legal Mexicans. But, more to the point. I also point out that, not only did, this guy draw, you know, Godzilla killing members of ICE, but we also have one of the main special effects guys behind the Monsterverse, Jared Krachevsky, saying endorsed fuck ICE. So yeah, now this is shitting where I eat now. Cause this motherfucker better keep his you know, retard hat on while making Godzilla and Kong Supernova, or I'm gonna be fucking mad, all right? He better not fuck up Godzilla for me. Yo, Jared, listen. Keep your woke bullshit at the door. That's my childhood hero you're fucking with right now, okay? Because let me tell you something. You thought the female Custodes shit made me mad. If woke bullshit ends up in the next Monsterverse film, you'll be able to see the explosion from orbit with how mad I get, all right? The shockwave off my anger will travel the world. That shit'll make Krakatoa look like a fucking firecracker, all right? That's how mad I'll be, okay? The force of my rage will make the sun look like a signal flare. And then on top of this shit, where the fuck? Okay, here it is. So so here we go. So this guy. So okay. So the only one here was like, when Godzilla kills other kaiju for stepping in his territory, the left is retarded. Because, I mean, yeah, no, listen, I will break into Gilgamesh's treasure chamber. I will steal fucking Ia, and I will Enuma Elish like fucking legendary pictures, all right? But, like, because fucking hell. But yeah, here's the thing. And this is why it's hilarious. Because I'm a huge kaiju fan. Huge Godzilla fan. More than Warhammer. I never fronted it like I did Warhammer. More than Warhammer. You motherfuckers wouldn't even believe the levels of Godzilla fandom I am in. Okay? So this guy, the only one, says, endorsed, in quotes, when Godzilla kills other kaiju for stepping on his territory, the left is retarded. And then I saw this guy's response. Don't pretend to be a Godzilla fan if you don't know shit about the character nor his entire history. So, let me read off my response to this motherfucker. Oh, you want to get preachy about Godzilla's history as a character? Okay. Through 71 years, Godzilla has killed the following aliens attempting to trespass on Earth. Ghidorah, the Zillions, the Keelax, Hedorah, Gigan, the M Space Hunter Nebula aliens, Mechagodzilla, the Simians, Space Godzilla, Orga, the Zillions, again, and Monster X. And that's only counting the movies. He's an aggressively, violently territorial monster, and his default reaction to anything which invades his territory is to kill it. If Godzilla was sapient enough to understand humans completely, he would completely understand the idea of maintaining your borders and kicking out invaders. And this is ignoring the fact his creators are a bunch of right-wing conservative Japanese nationalists. Godzilla is right-wing, and you are a tourist. And that's absolutely right. Godzilla is right-wing. And I know what people are going to say, but Ishiro Honda was anti-war. He was anti-war and pro-women's rights. And shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And stop trying to use better men than you as your fucking, crutch for your stupid argument. Yes, Ishiro Honda was anti-war, all right? I won't deny that for a minute. He was absolutely anti-war. You wanna know why he was anti-war? Because he fought in fucking China, okay? He fought in China and saw the worst of what liberal ideology, of what, globalism, because do not misunderstand me. Conquest of other nations is globalism, okay? It is globalism. People who tell you nationalism is evil will try to convince you that the conquest of other nations is nationalism. It's not. That's a misunderstanding of what nationalism represents in reality. When your nation tries to conquer another nation, that is globalism, whether by military force, politics, or culture. Conquest is globalism. And that's the truth. Ishiro Honda, the man who directed the original Godzilla, was a Japanese nationalist. He loved his country. He loved his people. He loved his culture. It was that love that drove him to fight for Japan. And it was seeing where that out-of-control globalism went, where it sent his country, that convinced him that it was wrong. But at the same time, he still loved his country, even after the war. And that was what drove him to make the films he did. To make one of the greatest science fiction horror films of all time that preaches a unique perspective on the dangers of atomic warfare and nuclear technology from the perspective of the only country in existence to have been hit by atomic bombs. So just because Ishiro Honda preached anti-war, preached against nuclear weapons, he preached against war, preached against nuclear weapons, and because he did works that, because don't get me, people have this weird impression that being right-wing is anti-woman because of leftists, because feminists are a bunch of psychotic female supremacists who are also left-wing. Ishiro Honda preaching for women's equality in his own works is not left-wing either. Okay? Because he preached for it in a rational, non-supremacist sense that aligns with right-wing politics. So yes, Ishiro Honda was not a leftist. He was a conservative, right-wing Japanese nationalist. Just because leftists, for all their vaunted media literacy, can't understand that, does not change reality or history. It means that leftists are fucking stupid and don't understand media. You never knew this about the creator of Godzilla. Interesting. Yeah, no, listen, man, I've read up on Ishiro Honda. Ishiro Honda is legitimately one of the greatest directors that's ever lived. Legitimately an incredibly creative, wise, and intelligent man who knew the worst of mankind. He legitimately knew the worst of mankind, and it propelled him in his filmmaking. And that's why his films were so good. Why, despite being films about monsters, why they were so humanist. Because he experienced the worst mankind had to offer and came out a better man for it. And I also respect that about him, too. But, like I said, leftists are retarded and think that being against war, you know, pushing the idea that women can be equal and all that stuff, being a humanist means you can't be right-wing because their entire idea of being right-wing is warped. But it was exactly Honda's conservative right-wing nationalist views, the type that he gained from his experience in war, that allowed him to make Godzilla, well, Gojira in Japanese, its actual title, a film that has stood the test of time for like 71 years, almost a century. And this also goes to why I say, whether by accident or design, all relevant art is right-wing. You cannot have left-wing art that is relevant unless the artist is accidentally adopting right-wing values. Like Starship Troopers, all right? I bring that movie up a lot on this channel because it's one of the great examples of how leftists, including leftist creators, don't understand art, including their own art. And let me tell you something. Starship Troopers will stand the test of time as a film. It is incredibly relevant. But it is not relevant for any reason the creator of it, Paul Verhoeven, intended, and never will be. Because in his attempt to satirize the right, he endorsed right-wing, conservative, nationalist values that are the core foundation of all civilization and all society. This also cuts back to why I said Avatar can never have cultural relevance, because the core values of Avatar as a film are to burn your nation, burn your culture, burn your species, abandon your humanity, be something else. And that is why left-wing art will never work. Left-wing art is very much built on the presentism that dominates, it dominates left-wing thought. Left-wing thought and ideology is presentist. There is no future, for they always preach of the coming end. There is no past, for the past is evil. You have to abandon the past. There is only the eternal present. And left-wing art builds itself on presentism, and as a result, it can only be relevant in the moment of creation. Like, left-wing shit like, say, the Star Wars sequels, Steven Universe, whatever fucking Jordan Peele, the guy that did the disastrous Twilight Zone remake, his movies, like fucking, oh, what is it? The one with the black people getting hypnotized, or the clones of black people living beneath America. Shit like that is never gonna maintain relevance. A Way Out? Maybe? I don't remember the title because, again, it's an irrelevant film. Like all of his films. And the reason being that because the values that underscore the films, the left-wing ideology, the left-wing values, can only exist in the moment because left-wing ideology is presentist. Right-wing values look toward the past and look toward the future. And because of this, films that promote these values, whether deliberately on the part of the creator or accidentally, in the case of a leftist artist, using right-wing values to tell their story, and in such promoting right-wing values, even if they don't believe they did. It proves that because of this, because right-wing values focus on both the past and the future, that right-wing values are inherent to relevant art. And that's it. All relevant art is right-wing, whether by accident or deliberate creation. The problem with leftist sphere of art is that it's all based on a lie and literally a CIA op designed to trick the Soviets into accepting Western culture, and it worked. Modernism and postmodernism refuses to accept any idea of contemporary art, but more predominantly, how to make art, the skills themselves, are something leftists lack, so everything they make has low quality and like everything but surface level themes. Yeah, exactly. It really is that and the presentism, like the presentism aspect, because they're never thinking of what this art will say in 10, 20, 50, 100 years' time. They're never thinking of that. Tolkien was right-wing. Tolkien was absolutely right-wing, and anybody who tries to say he was a fucking leftist is literally a delusional retard, and nothing they have to say matters. The She-Hulk TV show is a great example of left-wing art. Yeah, exactly. Like, man, look at the original Hulk movie for the MCU Hulk with, before they started inserting politics into the MCU, and then compare She-Hulk. Like, there's universal themes in the original Hulk film about, who you are in the dark, about controlling your emotions, trying to, controlling your emotions, your aggression, learning to harness aggression, learning to live with your mistakes, with your dark side that you have. These are universal themes and concepts that will stand the test of time, regardless of when you watch the movie. Now look at She-Hulk by comparison. What are they trying to tell you in She-Hulk? Feminist politics rooted in 2016 election hysteria. References to fucking Doomcock, the YouTuber. Twerking. What does that provide for future viewers? Men are trash. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by the 2016 feminist politics. What does that provide to the future? Who the fuck is gonna know who Doomcock was in 20 years' time? And for the record, as a nobody YouTuber, I fully embrace the fact in 20 years' time, no one on YouTube will remember who I was. I fully accept that fact. But all the same, no one's going to remember who the fuck Doomcock was in 20 years. They will never understand the reference in that episode of She-Hulk. The show says nothing. And because it says nothing, it accomplishes nothing. And because it accomplishes nothing, it is purely mired in the moment of its own creation. I'm sorry for talking with a mouthful of food. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, no. So left-wing art can't say anything because it's not leaving a message to anyone in the future to say. But right-wing values and thus right-wing art do. Thus, any art that is relevant is right-wing. And again, this is either by deliberate design or on accident on the part of the creator, if the creator was leftist, but all relevant art is right-wing. She-Hulk show was just the showrunner going off on an unhinged rant. Well, I mean, look, a lot of leftist entertainment really is just an extended multi-$100 million therapy session by the writer. If you think I'm wrong, look at fucking the Velma show, okay? Velma suddenly turns Indian. Look at the person who was in charge of the show. You'll see what I mean. But, yeah. What else was there? Oh, yeah, this. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me go to this I'm scared to scroll this person's, I'm scared to scroll this person's, thing because there might be porn. Okay, they're retweeting, you know, ICE murder. Oh, wow, it took them this long to read Guns of Tanith, and they probably still got the fucking, still probably can't appreciate it. There was another one they did. I wanna find it. There was another one they did. Okay, let me scroll down. Where is it? Here it is. Here's the other one they did. All right, so, okay, so Mindy Kaling, that might have been her name. I don't know. Everything about postmodernism is narcissistic. It's all about the selfishness, and the individual's feelings. Excuse me. The self-centeredness only knows the now. It dejects the past for being problematic and sacrifices the long game for short-term gains. It's very Machiavellian. Rules for radicals, self-satisfactory, self-insistent. Yeah, exactly, Victus, exactly. But yeah, no. So obviously, okay, so now we're bleeding into 40K, all right, and we're gonna bleed into the next topic. Nice one. I've done better. 6 out of 10. But, so, okay, so I want to point out the idea of the Imperium hating ICE is fucking hilarious. So y'all probably know 40K well enough. What if a bunch of migrant aliens came into the Imperium? What would they do? What would the Imperium do? Like, what would the Imperium do? Honest question. I'm certain you all know the answer, but I want y'all to answer it anyway. A lot worse than what ICE is doing. Yes, exactly. They'd make what they would make, you know, burn them. Yeah, no, they'd make remigration look like a fucking, you know, look like a walk in the kiddie park. Okay, they would just kill them. Except the Eldar women. No, that's only if Sharky's involved. Reload the bolters? Yeah, no, seriously. A walk in the kiddie park is an off day. Okay. My brain mixed up a walk in the park with a swim in the kiddie pool. It kind of merged them both together. It is a bit of an off day for me, Mech Tech. I will admit that. A cakewalk. Yeah, no. A bit of an outsider to 40K, but I know enough that they would do things 1,000 times worse than what ICE is doing. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like the Imperium would just kill them. Like not like, okay, I'm not saying humans, like aliens, like Xenos, right? Because obviously the Imperium, well, that's another thing that makes this ridiculous. The Imperium is like a staunchly pro-human, you know, faction. The Imperium doesn't care if you're a white human, a black human, a male human, a female human, a straight human, or a gay human, or whatever. They only care that you're human. So the idea that, you know, the Imperium would kill other humans over just migration, is ridiculous. especially considering people move to different worlds in 40K. Even if it's difficult, people do migrate to different worlds in 40K. That does happen. That's what every faction 40K would do. They'd just kill you. Yeah, no, because let's not pretend, let's not pretend that the Xenos or Chaos are the good guys, unlike the Imperium who are. But it got really ridiculous in the next post. This is the new Warpsmith model they're coming out with. Warpsmith Kravik Morn says fuck ice. Okay. For those who don't know what a Warpsmith is, this guy's a Chaos Marine. Really good model. It's a nice model. I'm not gonna be buying it. I'm not gonna be buying it because fuck Games Workshop. They don't get my money. But this is just Hitler would agree. This is literally just Hitler would agree with me. That's what this is. Like, this man is a Chaos Marine. This man worships demons and kills innocent people because they're there, you know? Like, motherfucker, how brain dead do you have to be to use chaos for this? Not afraid to admit that you don't know a lot about the topic. I would say you don't know much about it. Oh yeah, no, I get you, Alec. Don't worry. Like, real talk. Honestly, you're real for that. Like, definitely, because you just straight up like, yeah, this ain't my topic, but I know enough, Yeah, no, you're cool, man. Don't worry. John Murder of the Skinflayer Rapist Legion would agree with me. Yeah, that's what this is. He just uses AI to make most of these, feeding the algo with actual models. He doesn't actually make models in a cursor glance shows he's quite the tourist. Yeah, the real. No, this guy, this next guy at Evil Scott is absolutely a tourist. Absolutely. I've declared him such, and therefore that is what he is. My word is law. Good morning, Marshall. And yeah, this picture is so dumb. Yeah, no, yeah, we're on. It's like I said, we're on. John Murder Boner of the Skin Ripper Rapist Legion agrees with me. That's where we're at now. And there was more on the Warhammer front. I actually had it up already. God damn it. I didn't need to look for it. I'm stupid. Oh yeah, here we go. My bro Rock Solid here. Like, some people really need to think twice before they make this fictional character agrees with me posts. Let's let this sink in for a minute. What straight up fucking... Okay, for context, this was on Sig Marxism. Legitimately fucking LGBT activists comparing themselves to chaos. I don't even need to point out how retarded that is. Like, holy shit, you are... You know what? Okay, listen. I know, okay, so the whole argument of, orcs represent black people or whatever, the asinine comparison of du jour is stupid, right? Nobody on the right is comparing minority groups to monsters. Like, nobody's doing that. But, like, I think the problem isn't that people on the right compare, minority groups to monsters. The problem is that the minority group activists compare themselves to the monsters. It literally came from extra credits around 2014. Yeah, no, it did. It did. That came from extra credits. It did. It did. Extra credits kickstarted that whole fucking asinine argument and legitimately got art censored. It got creative expression permanently crippled and several franchises ruined just by making that video. And now every woke retard who's like part of a minority group thinks that just deliberately projects themselves onto demons, onto aliens, onto monsters. And it's like, nobody thinks you're that, you fucking retard. Oh, there's a female Space Marines, but female, Games Workshop hasn't gone that far yet. I wouldn't put it past them. Okay, Alec, we're gonna get into that in a minute. I think the great gaslighting on female Space Marines is slowly starting. I think that's gonna be our last topic for tonight. half my Ravnica cube I couldn't use in Magic the Gathering because the orcs are too black. It's what pushed me over the edge into the culture war trenches. Hey man, yo, listen. Listen, for me, Alex, since you've been here for a while, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Crusade, dude. But, what pushed me over, and I've told this story because this is like way back, okay? For me, what pushed me over the edge into the culture war trenches was watching the LGBT community try to get the what do you call it? The Ender's Game movie pulled from theaters because of Orson Scott Card, because of his views on homosexuality, which I do not agree with Orson Scott Card on his views on homosexuality. He's still a fantastic writer. Ender's Game is fantastic science fiction, and you should absolutely read it. And I legitimately love the Ender's Game novels. And I did not want, I knew what he said. I knew the things he said about gay people, even though this was my shitlib period of my life. I knew he said those things about gay people, but I still liked the novels because, you know, the novels, Ender's Game, weren't saying any of that. He wasn't putting that in any of his work. I mean, he did eventually, and honestly, he was kind of prophetic in that regard, so I don't really mind. But more to the point, Ender's Game specifically did not preach any of his worldviews. It was, like any good science fiction story should be, an exploratory treatise on an idea, you know? So when the LGBT community was all like, get the movie out of theaters, it has no right, the film has no right to be in theaters because of Orson Scott Card, that was what pushed me into being all like, oh, hey, what the hell, guys? And then when I was called self-hating or an Uncle Tom, or, you know, I was called a Judenkraut, or whatever it is, the term for, you know, a Jewish person who sided with the Nazis. They called me that for saying the film shouldn't be taken out of theaters. That was kind of the wake-up call where I was like, okay, this shit's getting stupid. The nuts are running the nut house. I'm quitting the LGBT community. That was when I did, and I haven't looked back since. It's really weird how most LGBT people aren't shitlibs, but all, most aren't, but all were. Yeah, you really kind of, I don't know, it feels like you kind of go through a phase where, or at least most seem to go through a phase where, you know, you're in that period of your life where you're being ruled by your parents, you know, you have to be, right? You're a kid, you know, you're a dumb kid, you don't know what the world is. You're being ruled by your parents, but then you've also got all this narrative of oppression coming out of like the mainstream media and for at the time before Twitter was bought by Musk, social media. And it's just this overwhelming feeling, and it doesn't help with the fact the LGBT community has a very severe problem with convincing young gay people that if they don't embrace the community, they're going to die. And it's social conditioning. It really is social conditioning because it pushes you toward the LGBT community, and then the LGBT community says, we're your only refuge from your family, from your government, from your neighborhood, from everything. And if you don't let us help you, you will die young because you will be murdered. Like, so many people, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, could avoid the negativity they feel in their later years if they just didn't listen to the LGBT community. I genuinely mean that. And I know some people might not like the fact I'm including the T in there. I am including the T in there. The the transgender community is absolutely the way it is because of the culture of before they became part of it, the LGBT community. The LGBT community created the culture of the transgender community. I know some people like to think the transgender community ruined the LGBT community. That is not true. I was there. The community was fucked before transgender people joined it. The community made transgender people worse. It created the transgender activist ideology. I don't blame transgender people. I blame the community. And I will stick by that, I will always stick by that. The toxicity of that community, of what it was just the LGBT community, was what caused transgender activists, trans rights activists, to be the way they are today when they signed up to the community and added the T. It created trans trenders who are the most toxic. That is true. The most toxic trans people you will ever meet are the ones who are not actually transgender. They're the ones who are usually mentally unwell people who latched onto transgenderism in an attempt to try to make sense of themselves, but they're not actually transgender. The people who are, there are a lot of people I have met, and I am friends with many of them, friends, mutuals, whatever, transgender people who reject the community, and they just want to exist. They just want to exist. And the community makes that so difficult. The LGBT community makes it difficult for me to exist as a fucking gay dude who literally just wants to grill. I have to call them, I just want to grill, but I also realize with these retards ruining it for me, I can't grill. I can't be, silent about it when my life is getting ruined by these LGBT community retards who are making me look bad. The other term for trans trenders are called too cute or too cute to be cis. Yeah, I've seen that. Those are the same kind of people who try to say that every femboy character in anime is transgender, when you've got the creators themselves and characters in the manga saying the character is not transgender, they're a femboy. Most recently, it was Jujutsu Kaisen with that one femboy character, and the panda character says that they're a man. So the people trying to push the idea that the character is transgender said, oh, well, obviously the panda is a transphobe. Everything maybe the author is just trying to tell you something, guys. Bridget, yeah, also gay fatigue, real. I'm gay and I've got gay fatigue. I can only imagine how straight people feel. Jesus Christ. But yeah, moving on. Moving on, everyone. Oh, and then there was this motherfucker. I thought I'd point this guy out. Hold on. Woke retard account Neb's Good Takes posted this. This was his Good Morning post on January 25th. And I'll point out Neb's Good Takes is really obnoxious individual. Just go and block them. But he posted that GIF, and then this guy, Small Pharma, being all like, average White Shark magazine fan getting what's coming to them. I mean, again, you know, by the way, guys, if you don't follow White Shark Quarterly on Twitter, go follow White Shark Quarterly on Twitter. My homie, you know, Shark, Space Shark 24, he runs that, and really good, you know, really good independent hobby magazine. I highly recommend you follow it if you're into tabletop wargaming and RPGs and stuff. Plus, Sharky is based as hell, man. Listen. Sharky is without a doubt my favorite elf fucker. He's the coolest elf fucker. You'll never find a better elf fucker than Sharky, okay? And I get he's got some, you know, I get he's got tree fever. It afflicts him greatly. It drives his judgment calls. But I still respect the hell out of him. And he does good shit. So yeah, go find White Shark Quarterly on Twitter and follow it. That is my recommendation. What if you're not smart enough to have a Twitter in general? I don't know. I don't think White Shark Quarterly is currently anywhere. Wait, they might have a website. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. Hold the balls on. I'm gonna let me look that up, okay? Google. Is this it? Okay. I think this is the subscribe stack for it. Okay, here we go. I'm posting Sharky's Substack in the chat for both chats. There you go. That's Sharky's Substack. Go check it out, all right? Go check it out. I highly recommend it. But more to the point, so you got Small Pharma here. You're just straight up threatening the lives of, you know, people, you know, Sharky. And his White Shark Quarterly subscribers. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's see. Space this guy's a retard. Average member of the tolerant left saying that Space Shark 24's fans deserve death. Okay, you know what? Fat Ass is a retard. Fat Ass is an absolute... Dr. Fat Ass is a retard and a subhuman. And he's dating a pedophile. But he's right. Here's the one I was looking for. Here's Sharky. Responding to the guy's thread, which is actually insane, but okay. Ah, man, fucking love you, Sharky. You're a cool dude. You take this shit in such stride. You're a man after my own heart. Also, Marshall, there was another one from a convenient moment from the main dev of Fallen Aces too about beating cops despite being crooked. Sorry, Dimitri. I hate to say it, we're kind of off that topic now, but thank you for bringing it to my attention, though. But okay, so yeah, you've had Warhammer fans also get fans, air quotes, Warhammer tourists, you know, getting involved in the whole ice hysteria. But that's not the Warhammer topic we're talking about today. This is, and I posted this to like I posted this on you know, 27th, and with full intent of coming back to it. We've had our first indication that Games Workshop is ready to begin the gaslighting process on female Space Marines, which I think is another kind of soft confirmation that they are coming. The first one was, you know, the first one was those heads, those extra heads that were just butch women. That was the first one. We're now on what I think is the second soft confirmation that it's coming. And what we have here is on Facebook, former Games Workshop artist, Tony Hugh. How the fuck you pronounce that? I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that. I don't really care. But more to the point, he says, apparently Games Workshop have released some models for female custodes, and some of the air quotes fans, his air quotes, not mine, are losing their rag at this modern change. Here is Sister Sledgehammer, who I painted in 1989. So that's the so that's his initial statement, showing off some of his old art. Backstory to this is that Sister Sledgehammer was my version of a female Space Marine. Steve Tappin had drawn one in Rogue Trader, and I liked the idea. I put her in two of my black and white illustrations. In 1989, I was peeved that I'd been typecast at GW as a black and white illustrator, and I painted this to show studio I could handle color work. Despite initial encouragement, when I finished her, they said they only wanted action shots, not casual scenes, and declined it. Original is gauche and inks on board about A1 size. Here's one of her earlier appearances. And I'll zoom in real quick. This is the image. The character he's talking about is the woman in the you know, on with the hood, with the gas mask on the bottom right. Her hood says Sister Sledgehammer on it. Now, someone posted in reply to this that, you know, so we're gonna go back a little bit. That is, you know, again, that's the context, that's the art. So he's saying this character and Steve Tappin's image that he drew were female Space Marines. Here's the problem, though. The art by Steve Tappin that he's talking about is this. This is the art he's talking about. This is not a female Space Marine. This is a Sister of Silence, Sister of Battle, called such by name. In fact, I'm going to quick, let's see. I'll quick do a little snurgery here. Open with paint. Now let's see if I can. Let's see if. Wait, no, not paint. God damn it. All right, let's see, because I'm gonna need to zoom into this. I'm gonna need to zoom into this image. So let's see if I can get it up on here. Is this it? There it is. All right. Here's the image on my thing here. We're gonna have to zoom in really close to this, okay? So that's why I'm bringing this up. Here we go. So this is the art, this is the text describing the image. As the power of the Adeptus Ministorum grew, so did a multitude of sub-organizations have developed within the compass of the ecclesiarchy. An interesting example of this is the Adepta Sororitas, an order of devotional warrior women. The Adepta is organized along similar lines to the Space Marines. The Sisterhood, as it is generally known, is led by an abbess and includes many lesser ranks and offices in a similar way to the Adeptus Astartes. There are 2 Covenant fortresses, the Sanctum on Earth and the Prioress on Ophelia 4. Personnel fleets of each fortress are blah. Okay, you get the idea. This is just, this is just the lore for the Sisters of Battle. The Adepta Sororitas, called such by name. The Sisterhood, called such by name. And as you can see a little bit below, Battle Sisters, called such by name. Okay? For this art by Stig Tappen, which the guy in his post said, and now I will go back to it. One moment, everyone. Let me go back to it really quick. He says in his post about the art of another character like this, that Steve Tappan's art depicts a, and I'm quoting, female space marine. I guarantee you what is happening here. Games Workshop is going back to their old artists and being British artsy types, or just artsy types in general, are probably a bunch of raging leftists. And they are telling them on the sly, begin making posts saying that your old art of Sisters of Battle were meant to be female space marines. And Games Workshop, they're going to use this as their in for female space marines. That's what they're going to do. I'm calling that right now. This is some, I'm feeling like this is some Apollo with the Gift of Prophecy bullshit, okay? They're going to have the artists post this stuff on like Facebook, on Instagram, not on Twitter or Blue Sky. They'll be on Blue Sky, but never Twitter. They're going to have them post it there. Games Workshop will reveal female space marines and then reveal, using these artists as their proof, air quotes, proof that female space marines used to exist in Rogue Trader. And then they're going to use this lie that Sisters of Battle art was actually female space marines. And then they'll use the idea that, oh, they always existed from the very beginning of Warhammer 40K, you silly chuds. They're going to pull a female Custodes and they're going to try and justify it in a way they never could with female Custodes by trying to gaslight people on Sisters of Battle art from Rogue Trader, from first edition Warhammer 40K. That is what they're going to do. That is look, man, like I said, I got the Gift of Prophecy right now. All right. It's going to happen. That is the move they're going to make in 11th edition, beginning or end, one or the other. It will happen in 11th edition. You can mark my words on that. It will happen in 11th edition. And if for some reason Games Workshop will see the light in 11th. Maybe they will. I highly doubt it. They're too insular. They're too behind the times. They're probably going to push this shit even harder. But I'll tell you this much. It'll happen in 11th edition. You can mark my words on that. Oh boy. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is legitimately, what I see coming. That is legitimately what I see coming for Warhammer 40K, and I'm glad I've severed all ties with Games Workshop, and what it is they do. Because, yeah, no, Warhammer's going to shit, guys. Like, seriously, I'm so glad I hopped on the Gundam train. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'd watched Gundam before, but all the same, man, you know, I'm glad I hopped on that train. Jesus, man. Marshall, I want you to be wrong, otherwise I'm gonna revolt. Man, I want me to be wrong. I want me to be wrong more than anyone. But, you know, unfortunately, I firmly believe that, you know, yeah, I firmly believe that I am not wrong. You know, I firmly believe this is coming. This is gonna happen. You know, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get female Space Marines. But I've already said I'm sticking to the parts of Warhammer that are good. And because of that, you know, because I'm sticking with the parts of Warhammer that are good, Games Workshop can run it into the ground as much as they want, and the woke tourists can preside over the ashes. If Games Workshop wants to turn around, disavow female Custodes, female Space Marines, then yeah, sure, I'll accept it. But you know what? Until then, no. I'm sticking with the parts of Warhammer that were good, and that's me. The Stardust dude dropped a trailer he worked on for another badass sci-fi book. No, I did not. Last thing I saw that he made was the trailer for the game Menace, which I'm gonna point out. Let me check the calendar really quick. That comes out Thursday next week. I will be playing that on stream because that game looks spectacular. But yeah, he did the trailer for that. And run it, Marshall, it's awesome. Okay, I don't know if I can don't know if I can without getting copyright struck. But I will watch it. I will, I'm talking like getting the VOD taken down on YouTube, and I don't want that to happen. So I don't know if I can, but I will note that address and I will check it out. But yeah, let's zoom on back over to here. But yeah, so everyone, you know what? I want everyone to hold on really quick. Everyone hold on to your butts. How do I spell that name? All right, Raid. Yeah, how do you spell that? Jesus. All right. Okay, I've got it. Hold on. Okay, I'm sending y'all to watch, okay, I'm basically done with all the topics. I'm sending y'all to watch, Newt Automata, who is currently streaming, Escape from Tarkov. So yeah, everyone, I know this was a political stream. Please behave over a Newt stream, you know, no causing a ruckus. I may or may not end up doing Helldivers tomorrow like I promised. I'm gonna have to see, all right? There's some stuff I gotta do. No glow? Exactly, Victus, no glow. But yeah, everyone behave, have fun watching Tarkov with Newt. And yeah, hope you have a good evening. Take care, everyone. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Tuesday. So yeah, later, everyone, and have a good weekend.
Yes, clear. Loud, clear. Pacific.
2423 live, we'll get the mobile station.
On the Anticon. C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on the N4.